Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. Welcome to Meaningful Mondays. It's like just the best way to start off a week, isn't it? And well, at the Community Foundation, I always say that we only know good people who do great things, and it's our way of making sure that the rest of the community and beyond know all about the good people that we know at the Community Foundation of Middlesex County. And I must say that the Community Foundation and Cynthia Clegg herself are honored to know the director family. So let me introduce you to one of our newest board members, Brett Director. But before we do, Brett, I'm just going to go back in my history with your family. When we say good people doing great things, this is the third generation of your family working for and with the community to improve it in every way that you can. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and certainly means a lot.
So, let's kick it off with just a little bit of stuff about you and your background, and both personal and professional, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And then we'll just launch right into why you do what you do.
Sure. Quick about me, born and raised in Cromwell, still reside in Cromwell. Also, I have my dog Tiger that I actually rescued a handful of years ago. But besides that, professionally, again, like you said, third generation of our company, Connecticut Lighting Centers, now in our 51st year.
Wow.
But yeah, it's really something, looking back on something, obviously my grandfather started, passed on my father, who's still involved, and myself and my two siblings as well. I'm the youngest of three. But it's just something really kind of meaningful to be a part of, and not that we were ever. Everyone always asks if we were ever pushed to be in the business, which was never the case on my father. Something that we all wanted to do, and it's really good thing to be a part of, and I'm happy to be joining this foundation as well.
Yes, thank you. And so I must say that when you and I chatted a little bit earlier, you said that your family never really pushed you to just do stuff in the community. It was just always part of your DNA, if you will.
Yeah, I'd say just one thing, especially, obviously my father being Dave and being, a part of a lot of associations and nonprofits, you just grow up when, not that anything really needs to be said, but when you have a model like my father who's just really involved, it's nothing really needs to be said, put it that way. It's, just stepping into it just because you see it and what it means to him. And not at all selfishly, it's him just loving what he does, love to give back. And it's just something that kind of, I'll say it brews inside you over the years.
That's a good way to do it, like a good cup of coffee.
There you go. That's just something that just, something I really want to do, and I'm happy to be involved now.
So what got you involved with the Community Foundation? And I want to go back to your background a little bit, because you've actually been involved with the Big Brothers Big Sisters quite significantly. And I love the idea that Tiger is an adoptee. So I think that in and of itself, it says something about you.
Yeah, no, I again, family happened to be involved in the Big Brothers Big Sisters. Actually, my grandfather Art was one of the founders in Connecticut, with one other gentleman.
That.
Yeah, so he again, something that my father was a part of as well, and kind of just stepped into the right timing, if you will. About 6 years ago, that started. Young man's name was Jaden from New Britain, but it was something that, again, it just seeing it all the time, kind of growing up, it just the timing worked out good. And
so Jaden was your mentee. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but Jaden was a mentee of yours?
Yeah, so we started together. He was 11 years old when we first started together.
Wow.
11 years old, yeah. But yeah, again, just doing the simple things together with him, going to baseball games, go to a lot of yard goats games, just just doing the little things of something that I think a lot of people take for granted.
Thank you for saying that, because those little things people do take for granted. I'm going to nominate you to be on a segment of Steve Hartman. I'm a big fan of Steve Hartman, who does all those wonderful shows on Friday nights, and
Mhm.
I think you belong there. So again, how did you get involved with us, with the Community Foundation?
So I would say, again, I must say, Big Brothers Big Sisters was something that just stuck to me earlier on. Um, I knew I wanted to get involved in a few things, didn't really know what. And again, I think community as a whole sometimes get overlooked of a lot of majors out there, and
Mhm.
it's so the community, the small, not necessarily small ones, but just as a whole, I think the community, is something that you really need to focus on, and I think sometimes people don't, I will say overlook it, but doing the little things, really makes a big difference. So I know you had mentioned something to my father a little bit ago.
Okay, true confessions.
I will. But no, again, timing was just right, and it was something that I was really honored to be, asked to join. And again, happy to be here. So I'm happy.
And we are looking forward to it, because you said at the very first meeting you attended with our board in December that you
Yeah.
hope to bring a new perspective to us, and we're looking forward to that too. So we're looking for you to bring, the perspective of folks your age and your interest, in how we can engage with that and how we can do better engaging with your age group. What do you hope to get from us? And we're different from most nonprofits. We're very different from Big Brothers Big Sisters. We always like to say we put the gas in the bus of the nonprofits, but we don't drive the nonprofit bus.
So when it comes to, that side of it, I would say, it's really a different perspective is part of what I was saying during our, one of the first meetings. And,
Right.
not good or bad, but it's just a different side of it. So I think there's a lot, again, with a little bit of the age gap, with some of the,
I do have gray hair.
yes, but it's a lot obviously I can learn from a lot of the people who've been there just with their years of experience, and again myself kind of, I'll say naive, just because I don't know what I don't know, getting into this specific foundation. On the outside of it I see a lot growing up and kind of being a part of it, but not taking a deeper dive into truly what happens kind of behind the scenes. So
You and I talked about that, the behind the scenes of what we actually do, because, doing grant making is very different than applying for a grant. So I think that will help. And I know you're a tech wizard, and we have a wonderful technology committee. So helping our technology committee be even better than they already are. And how can we, as a community foundation, streamline, use technology to our best? Please help us with AI, and understanding that, because the more you help us, the more we turn around and are able to help the nonprofits.
absolutely. And especially the AI world. That's
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start with that, but it's constantly changing, and it's just every day I feel like it's something new out there. So it's
And we need to be careful from our perspective and from our nonprofit status that whatever we do, we are not doing anything to jeopardize our nonprofit status. So you help us stay on the straight and narrow with that.
absolutely,
And
absolutely,
don't ever, as a new board member, don't ever be afraid to say to us on staff, did you ever think about doing it this way or looking at it this way? Because we are in this continuous improvement mode, and we know we're certainly not perfect, but we're striving for excellence all the time. So we welcome all your ideas.
absolutely. Yeah, and I can certainly relate already in professional world. Being able to work along, with my father as well, and again, the new perspectives of ways we've done things for a long time, and it's worked well. But just times are changing, and it's just always taking what but adding adding some new to it, and it's a good balance for sure.
So you're right, and the good balance is there. And so for folks that you know who maybe have not volunteered, what could you say to them to encourage them to volunteer? Because I'll tell you, the nonprofits really are worried about the dwindling numbers of volunteers. And I know everybody's busy. I get that. But our nonprofits do so much for us. If you had words of wisdom for your colleagues, your friends to say, volunteer, get involved, what would they be?
I'd really just say I think people, more so my age, may be a little, I don't want to say confused, but not sure where to start, where to go, who to ask, how that whole process works. And I think it just may be a little overwhelming. So
Okay.
even for myself, though, like, joining this board is certainly a new venture for me. And it's kind of stepping out of even my comfort zone, I'll say. And, for people looking to, donate and, be a part of the community and, give back, it's, just kind of like jump in. And jumping in maybe, doing something again, all, from large to small, whatever that is. I think once you get your feet wet and you realize what the community foundation can do, I think that'll really jumpstart more
Right.
specific.
And we are always happy to entertain any phone call or email about, I really love animals, or I really, like hiking and the environment. So where can I get involved? And we have another saying called connect the dots. We're pretty good at that. So we'd love to, anybody watching this or listening, just please make sure you call us or email us, and we'll be doing it. We'll be happy. One thing that I should have asked, but I didn't ask. That's a trick one.
What, I would say, I think you might have stumped me on that one.
Okay, then I'll go to another one. So when you're not working, when you're not volunteering, when you're not on our board, read, and by the way, I compliment you for reading all the minutes of the technology committee stuff and being so on top of all of that. So thank you. So when you're not doing that, what are the things that you do just to get some R&R? Because we all need to make sure we take care of ourselves too.
Yeah, so I'm pretty simple overall outside of, this whole world is like we talked about, my dog Tiger. Being outside, a lot of hikes, being active. The gym when I could find time, whether that's first thing in the morning, but really just being with friends, family, and getting some sports in whenever there's time. Just really staying active, just getting out there and letting loose and again, just remembering, where I came from and who I am, and just kind of don't get caught in the moment and just try to, stay even keel and don't let, today's world of, stress and all that kind of get the best of you. So
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that, and I'll ask a question, but I have to say, I hear through the grapevine that you're a pretty darn good golfer.
try to be. I have to keep up with the guys in the family, with my brother and my father. So the competitive side in the family takes
And
over.
that can be stressful, so we don't want that to be stressful.
Just enough, not too much.
Just enough to keep you going.
Exactly.
So when you get together with your peers and your friends, we talked a little bit about this earlier when you and I met.
Mhm.
What types of conversations are you having about the community and your wish list for the community?
So I would say the main thing, again, something that we had spoke on is, I think in the community, there's a lot of silos is one way I would put it. Not divided, not necessarily a bad thing. But I think, again, there's a lot of silos of people staying in their own lane. I think there's a lot out there, not, media and such, where certainly social media, not
Yeah.
even just the news, that, I think people just get a little carried away if you will. But I think they just have to just get back to the basics of, just being good people, doing the little things, is really the most I, really could say is just, growing up, there was, we were talking about cell phone usage,
Right.
where even, being 30, I was kind of on the cusp of, cell phones and iPhones, where when I was 10, 12 years old, I'd be on my bike riding around town all day long. My mom would have to call,
No cell phone.
try to get a hold of me if I even had a flip phone at the time, telling me to come home for dinner. But even like the things like that of growing up and just really just being a kid is the fundamentals. But again, we also talked about is those kids that are maybe like 5, 6 years, younger than I am, technology wise, think I'm pretty good at it, and they blow me out of the water. My nephews, they're 3 and 6, and they don't have cell phones, of course, but they get a hold of their parents, and I'm like, how you
How?
guys can even, yeah,
How? And then
3-year-old's talking and he's operating like a cell phone, taking photos. I'm like, oh boy. But
I
it
absolutely
is
love it.
impressive because that's again, even just 5 years, 5 years apart, younger than I am, it's a big difference. So it's good and bad, but it's just the way in which, everything is used.
Do you think if we all sat down, because you bring up the silos, do you think if we took silos down and did some community conversations with people from different silos and just sort of talked about generic stuff, that would help?
I would. I think again with so-called silos, I don't like I said, I don't think they're necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
And I think everyone wants to do good. I don't think it's malicious in any way for anything
Oh,
to be
yeah.
bad, but I think it's just once you get people together and you see some different point of views, it's just like, oh wow, I didn't think about it that way, or so forth. So I really would think that would be,
Okay.
beneficial. And again, I know the Essex steam train, you can always do that again. And
Well,
then they have to.
well, what Brett
But
is talking about is that
yeah.
pre-pandemic, we did start these community conversations, and Essex Steam Train was just very generous and invited us on a train, and you couldn't get off. You just went on a little ride, and you had a wonderful meal and great conversation, and people left knowing new people and feeling reconnected in some way. So, and I must say, the pandemic didn't help us with those community conversations, did it?
Yeah, no, I certainly agree though. I think in this kind of crazy, just so much is going on. Is that once you kind of really break it down, and again, get people all together and, all different forms, is think you could really make a good change.
Okay, Brett, so I think I'm going to add that to not only technology lists, but we're going to
Um,
start doing community conversations. I'll need your help. How's that?
Deal. You
All
got
right.
it.
Thank you. So, good people doing great things. We're going to connect the dots. We're going to get you involved with technology. You already are, and then community conversations. Is there anything else you want to learn about the Community Foundation? Truth be told, I just delivered a huge binder to Brett about the Community Foundation, and we don't take quizzes. We don't do anything like that, but it's really a lot of material to give you background on the business of philanthropy. And we're proud that you're going to be part of that.
No, I'm excited. I would say just really like I said, kind of a little bit earlier in what we discussed is kind of the business side of it.
Yeah.
And just what, how it all happens, really. Like I said earlier, it's really grown up seeing the outside of it
Right.
and thinking, oh, not that's easy, but you don't realize how much goes, behind the scenes, and you kind of take it for granted. But even the short bit I've been a part of here is, wow, there's a lot.
Well,
There's,
and you have the advantage of having somebody that you can reach out to, like your dad, and say, so what's this all about?
yeah,
So But don't be afraid to reach out to our staff. We've got a great staff and we're happy to answer any questions.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so what are you looking forward to in the next year?
And next year, I would say, one, like we just spoke on is kind of the business side of the community foundation itself, but more so, is, when we also spoke on this is kind of like when I go to, when you go to bed at night, what keeps you up at night? It's the little things and making sure that I can do what I can do, day in and day out, professionally and not, that if you do, even one good thing a day, really goes a far way, and just, again, just something that gets overlooked.
Thank you. That's really a great quote. And I think we're going to take and splice that out, if that's the right term. And it's doing that one little thing every day. And by giving back, you get a lot in return, I think.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But yeah, I think it's, again, just the little things. I think it really does.
Well, you've given our viewers and our listeners some really great advice, so I thank you for that. So we are, and I will repeat, we are honored to have the third generation of the Director family of Connecticut Lighting Centers to be part of the Community Foundation. We thank you for what you've already done for the community, and it's a lot. Even those one little things every day, that's 365 at the end of the year. So, and we look forward to learning a lot from you and getting your perspectives. That will help us tremendously as we grow and improve in serving the community.
Oh, absolutely. And again, thank you for having me on this podcast. And again, I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm excited for what the future brings.
All right. So for those of you who are listening or viewing, please share this with your friends and family, and please have people subscribe. So Meaningful Mondays are the best way to start the week. And hopefully you can have 5 Meaningful Mondays in a row and enjoy our podcast. So thanks again, Brett.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountycf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together we can make great things happen.